I've had a couple really freaky ones, but this one was really weird. Again, I won't say the town. I was working with first-time home buyers. Okay, so we were looking at really interesting properties. So walked into this home. First thing that I saw when I walked in the home was the homeowner sitting on a little stool, okay, probably smaller than these things, stirring a pot in his kitchen.
Oh my God.
Stirring a pot in his kitchen. So I'm like, all right, hey. I was showing book. Yeah. Come on in.
Yeah, not awkward.
Okay. Well, this got even more awkward.
Oh, Lord.
Welcome to the Real Estate Podcast, where I'm joined by Steve and Jennifer, and today we're talking about weird things that we have seen during showings. Please enjoy.
Welcome to the Real Estate Podcast, your go-to source for raw, unfiltered stories and expert tips. Whether you're a buyer, seller, tenant, landlord, or realtor, join us as we dive into the world of real estate.
So my first comment, Robbie just said, "Are you guys ready?" All three of us said no, and off
he goes
we go.
anyway.
Like, what was the point of doing that?
He doesn't really give a shit. He was just trying to be nice.
No.
You can tell. So this one's random.
Very random.
We just decided this 10 minutes ago because another one was canceled. But we're going to talk about, because I think it could be pretty funny, but there's also going to be a lot of WTF stuff.
Mm-hmm.
For our job, we show homes. And there's some super crazy, really interesting stuff that shows up sometimes. I would say for the most part, they're pretty good. Going to see homes, but sometimes there's some pretty funky stuff. Would you agree?
I do.
Yeah. You hear the stories.
Oh, I hear the stories. I've seen some. I'll go surfing and just look at what's come up on the market. And I'm like,
Actually, that's a
who
really
told
good
you
point.
that was a good idea?
That's a really good point. It's one thing that when we go into a home, sorry, I've got like 4 or 5 that are popping in my head. We go in and see a home and you see some what the fuck stuff is going on here in the home. But when it shows up on the MLS pictures that you're scrolling through, you're like, what is somebody thinking?
Yeah, why would you even do that?
Posting this.
Yeah.
So do you want to jump right into it?
Yeah, go for it.
Stuff that you've seen, or I can.
Yeah, one that sticks out to me is actually a few years ago. I'm not going to tell you where it is, but
oh, come on.
it was in Rockwood.
Okay.
But I can't remember the street for the life of me. But
I can't believe you actually told us that.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Well, yeah, going down in the basement, there was an actual altar.
Oh, my.
It looked like a mini church. So it had a confessional booth thing and an altar.
Okay, so when you said an altar, I went like the whole polar
Sacrifice?
opposite. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I'm like
Like
a
goat.
witch.
You know what I thought?
Yeah.
I thought okay, there's an altar there. Is there a big pentagram right
that's
in front of it
exactly
on the floor?
That's exactly what I pictured. I was like, oh God.
It was pretty close. They did have I don't know if you guys have ever seen a confessional where they kind of got the mesh.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
They had one of those and an altar. And it was
That's quite interesting.
It was interesting.
How did you, you were with clients, I guess. What was their response to that?
They were just like,
Oh,
well,
hey.
it's a choice for someone. Hi. Fuck. Do I have to start all over again? Okay. Good. I'm going to be eating this in a second. They were just like, well, it's a choice. It's, it kind of didn't really faze them. They didn't faze them, really.
Nice.
But,
Well, you know what?
they were easy clients, though. They were just like, everything rolled off their back. So they were kind of great.
So good.
Yeah,
But
thank goodness.
Especially buyers.
To me, it freaked me out a little bit. But
yeah.
The confessional with like an altar more so as like kind of a little mini chapel church doesn't freak me out as much as if it was like a
sacrificial table with
and
lamb
then
It's funny where
waiting
your
there.
head goes
Yeah.
that way.
I know.
away.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
That's exactly where I went. I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is like, oh no.
I could see an altar like that sort of doesn't, but a confessional?
You know what's in my head right
Which
now?
is still really weird, but it's still not the Conjuring kind of idea that I
What was
had.
that Madonna video? I don't know why.
Papa Don't Preach?
Is that the one with all the confessional, like the churchy type
Oh,
stuff?
maybe that one.
I don't know what the hell I'm thinking of Madonna for because I don't listen to that music. But anyway, that's what I'm
No.
thinking.
Out of all the things, Madonna.
Right?
I do know what you're talking about, actually. Anyway.
That's
I don't know what
hilarious.
song it was, but
That's pretty weird though.
it's weird.
Could be worse though. Could be worse.
Can I go? I got one.
You can go.
So I've had a couple really freaky ones, but this one was really weird. God, it was probably 3 years ago. Again, I won't say the town.
Awkward.
I was working with first-time home buyers, okay, that had a very limited budget. Okay, so we were looking at really interesting properties, but again, first-time home buyers. So they're very nervous about a lot of things, okay, like very critical about this, that, the other, and whatever. Not that it had any bearing on what we saw. So walked into this home. First thing that I saw when I walked in the home was the homeowner sitting on a little stool, okay, probably smaller than these things, stirring a pot in his kitchen.
Oh my God.
Stirring a pot in his kitchen. So I'm like, all right, hey, I was showing book. Yeah. Come on in.
Yeah, not awkward.
Okay, well, this got even more awkward.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. Didn't say anything other, very friendly fella, but sitting on a little stool, stirring a pot. Come on in, very inviting. Took our shoes off. I kind of looked at them and went, okay, so we started walking through.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Went upstairs. All of the doors to the bedrooms upstairs were closed, which should have been a key. And it actually taught me a lesson moving forward in my real estate career.
Arrive before your people.
Opened the first one. And
Oh,
I don't know if it was his spouse, his partner, who it was, asleep, face down on the bed.
Oh.
Okay. Sleeping, totally sleeping. But not wearing anything but low stuff. As I opened up the bedroom door, knocked first, opened up the door, and there was this person, closed it right away, and said to my clients, you know, this is what's going on here. Do you want to stay in this house? I said, no, let's leave. So it totally turned them off and freaked me out. I was like, oh my gosh, like, what
No
do you do
kidding.
here?
Like,
But why wouldn't you give us a heads up or something
Yeah,
like that?
yeah.
why are you asleep when there's a freaking showing? Like,
But-
what is wrong with you?
But they
Oh my
approved the
God.
showing because they were living there. So what is happening?
I
Common
can-
sense, not so common.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would expect that maybe from a rental,
Yeah.
but when you're trying to sell your house,
Well, I called the agent and I said, just as a heads up. Yeah. They're really chill about, like, even the agent kind of dismissed it,
that's
which was
not
freaky
chill.
as all
That's-
heck. But
oh,
it actually really bothered my clients. So what I ended up doing, each of our showings, I told them to come like 10 minutes later so I could do it once through the house.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was wild. It was absolutely wild. And this guy was here in the kitchen. I mean, I can see if nobody was home and you're sleeping or you slept through something, that's one thing. But give me a heads up and say,
Yeah,
don't
for
go
sure.
into the closed room.
Yeah. Someone's sleeping in their underwear. Like,
Yeah.
Oh my God. There was another one
That's
that
so
I went
weird.
to. I went to do a listing consult for this older woman that lived in this big 4-bedroom home. She's been there forever. Husband passed away. Kids are gone, blah, blah, blah. So she takes me through her house and takes me up to one of the rooms, and the door's shut, opens it, and it's probably about a room this size. And I shit you not, floor to ceiling dolls.
Oh,
So I opened it, and there was
I've been in one like that before.
1,000 eyes looking at me, like
Oh my God,
all
no.
different sizes.
No.
They were on the floor, they were on shelves.
What
they were,
movie was that with Annabelle? Was
Annabelle.
that The Conjuring?
oh my
Yeah, is that-
God.
that's Annabelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were
Awkward.
tall ones.
Ew.
There were ones
Oh,
in
no.
glass
Ew.
cases.
Oh God.
Everywhere I turned, it was like these eyes were looking at me, and it was
Do you
it
guys
was-
ever get those videos that pop up in your social media where it's like the room camera and you see the dolls like move or something?
oh my God.
That
I
would
swear to
freak me
God, they
out.
were looking at me. That was more creepy than the altar.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I find
Yeah.
that more creepy than the altar.
And I was looking around like, I really wanted to take pictures, but I didn't. Obviously, I didn't because I didn't want to,
Yeah.
you know.
This was
Yeah.
on a
Put her off.
consult?
It was, yes.
I mean, how do you have that conversation that, we might want to straighten that shit up a little bit because it's going to freak people out?
Or remove it altogether.
Yeah. Like put your little friends
I
in
did,
boxes.
yeah. I kind of took the angle that these look very valuable and, what's the word? Not sacred.
But personal.
personal
Yeah.
items and valuable. Like, I think, to avoid any risk of damage, you'd probably
good
want to
call.
get rid of these. And
I'm so bad at those conversations. Like, so what's going on
you got to
there?
put this shit
Yeah.
away.
What's
Yeah.
going
This
on
is
there?
going to freak
This has to
everybody
go.
out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was creepy.
Oh,
But
that's bananas.
yeah.
You know, if you're going to move anyways, like that should be Yeah, you have to pack eventually. So
Exactly.
just do it sooner so you can make the room look like it should look for a potential buyer. And
I
keep
sold
going.
a house a couple
Yeah.
of years ago. I've probably shown you the picture. And this client that I had, I mean, I loved his sense of humor. I mean, it was a lot of fun. But he thought it would be really funny to set up like an exorcist looking doll in a crawl space underneath the stairs. Okay. And
Oh,
when you
God.
opened this door, it was a motion sensor light that shone right on this stupid thing.
Shut up.
I'll show you the picture after because I've kept it. The first time it did it, it was, I'm not going to say where it was, but it wasn't far from where I lived. So quite often after dark and stuff I'd go over and, make my notes on the home as I'm preparing the marketing stuff. And I opened this crawl space. It was like 10 o'clock at night. Okay. I'm in the basement underneath the stairs.
Oh, God.
Open this stupid thing. And this head
Oh my
was
God.
4 feet away from me that looked like Linda Blair in The Exorcist.
Oh, my God.
You know what happened?
I'd be
You
gone.
screamed
I
bloody.
froze.
You froze?
I froze for the first time in 40 years. I hadn't done that since I was a kid, and I changed the channel to a vampire movie, and this big vampire face was
Oh
on.
my God.
And I
my
froze.
God.
And I mean,
Probably pee my
eventually,
pants.
you kind of compose yourself. But I called him and I said, dude, what are you doing? Haha, wouldn't it be funny? No, it wouldn't be funny
No.
at all.
Some
No.
people might have a heart attack.
Oh,
I would
right?
be one of those people.
Yeah.
Like I would start screaming bloody murder
Yeah.
and I would be out that door so fast your head would spin.
Yeah.
Like, gotta go.
Yeah.
No.
Ooh, yeah, no.
That would scare the shit out of me.
It was, and all along, I mean, I know where he was coming from because I have kind of a weird sense of humor too.
Well, it is
But dude,
funny.
don't do that. Not when
No.
we're trying to sell your house.
No.
Yeah, not when you're trying to sell your house.
You know?
Funny, hilarious,
Yeah.
like in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But not when you're trying to sell your house. Last thing you want to do is scare the shit out of somebody that you want them to buy your house and
my
they think it's
God.
like possessed by a doll.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not a good selling feature.
Here's another thought. And it actually just came up recently. I was showing homes and there was this one home that we couldn't figure out why it was still on the market. It was priced quite well. Okay. Room to negotiate, but priced quite well. It wasn't a horrible home. I mean, it would need a little bit of work, but at the price point you would do it. But it was just sitting and myself and my client, we couldn't figure out why. And I'm convinced that something happened in the home and we couldn't find a specific address attaching to what had happened in the home. We'd spoken to 2 neighbors and they were a little bit shady. Like it almost seemed like they didn't want to disclose something. So we went back and looked at it the second time in a little bit more detail. And in one of the bedrooms, to this day, I don't know if it was nail polish, if it was like condiment ketchup thing.
Oh, no.
In one of the bedrooms, it looked like there was a little bit of blood on a very small part of the inside of the bedroom door. Like it was freaky, but it fed right into what we were thinking about why the home didn't sell. And who knows, how the brain runs sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, especially when you see something that's
Yeah,
red,
but
you
we
instantly
couldn't
think
figure
blood.
out, but it always stayed with me. Like, is that something that happened? Like,
Yeah, no, especially if
they
you get
would
like the
cover
bad
that.
juju, like
that shoo-shoo?
yeah, if you get that feeling
Nobody
right
likes
away,
bad
no, like
juju.
get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
I've had that
100%.
feeling a few times in houses where it's just like something's not
Yeah, you're like
not right.
I'm usually pretty good. Like I don't get that feeling often, but I've had clients where it's happened.
Mhm.
Like I don't like the vibe or I don't like the energy in the house. Can we
Mhm.
just go? And I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go.
Some people are super sensitive to stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Stuff usually doesn't spook me. Like I don't know if you remember, it was a very old house that we had in town. It was up for lease. Took us a bit of time to lease it
yes.
because it was a unique property.
Yes, yes.
But the basement to this place, I swear if we sent it to Hollywood, we would have had a laundry list of, people who wanted to film horror movies in the basement.
Oh,
The basement was freaky.
Mhm.
You'd walk, and it was kind of empty, but it had like an old oil tank there. It had like all these remnants of the and I think it was a 150-year-old home.
Yeah, it was old.
And you're walking, and all of a sudden you kind of feel a spider web,
yeah.
and it was a low ceiling. And I remember the first
Concrete
time I
and-
walked through was a little bit late. I don't know why the hell I walked through all these houses late at night. I should do it like first thing in the morning. But it was a little freaky, and that was one of the only times where it's like, oh, this just feels weird. Like,
Yeah.
if these walls could talk,
Especially an old home like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
because there's history
Yeah.
For
yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
for
yeah.
sure.
It's some of the architecture is just super cool, and when you go, especially when you go down into the basements and you see them, you're like, wow, it's it's really old. But then you're just like super creepy at the same time.
But even outside of, the stuff that looks and feels creepy, we've listed some very nice older homes.
Very nice.
That have history in this house.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
you're in the
There has
house
to be.
by yourself and doing an open house or whatever, and you're like, who's watching me? What's happened in this house? Yeah,
Yeah, you never know.
for sure.
You never know, especially when they're that old.
Yeah. The other thing too, did we talk about pictures already? I think we did. Like stuff that shows up on MLS.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Because that freaks me out sometimes too. Like do you not monitor or do you not take a look at the pictures that you've taken before you post them on MLS?
Who posted something the other day? Oh, I think it was Ariel. Like in the group chat.
Mhm.
It was all like the ceiling. Did you guys see that?
I don't remember
text?
that one.
Did I not see that one?
It was a few days ago. I think it might have been on the weekend, but it was an MLS listing and he was scrolling through and it was all like corner ceiling. Like there was no
Oh
pictures.
yeah,
Do you remember
I
seeing
remember
that?
that one. Yeah.
Like
What?
How does
Yeah,
that get
yeah.
up? How
I don't know.
Yeah. And who posts that?
That makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
what? Oh my God.
We should be well, I guess we can. Like just call the agent and say, "So, I appreciate the work you got getting this to MLS, but what was going through your head when you posted
You
this?"
can't
Yeah.
see anything. Like
Yeah.
it's anyway. Yeah.
But even sometimes you see reflections in mirrors or you see
Yeah.
sayings or stuff on shelves. You're like, did nobody look at this?
Mhm.
You know?
Well, you can tell in iPhone photos.
I was
as
just
well.
talking about
Oh my
one.
gosh, those are horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible,
I mean, especially when they take a picture and in the bathroom and
Yeah, it's
can see,
basically
yeah.
of them.
of them.
Or they don't turn the lights on. Like, what's
Yeah.
wrong with you? Turn the fucking lights on.
Oh my God. There's
Yeah.
some
Bane of my
bad
existence
photos.
when like it's photos and it's not even like a beautiful day where it's like sunshine just rolling in and it's maybe a gloomy day and you still have the lights off.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
For sure.
Oh,
Keeping out.
it drives me crazy. And
Mhm.
I'm like, really? I'm like, who told you that was a good idea?
The other thing, I mean, not so much creepy, but just makes you shake your head sometimes with what people were thinking when they did certain things. We were talking, I think before we were rolling, about decisions people have made in homes, like when they've updated or whatever. Like I just sold a pretty nice place in Cambridge.
Mhm.
Okay. That it was a small home, but to accommodate some of the things that they did, they had to go into walls and stuff
Mhm.
like that, a toilet, for example, but it was tastefully done.
It looked really good.
I mean, we've been into homes where, half the drywall is cut out and a third of the toilet is backed into the wall and it's not even finished properly. And you're like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
You can't
You know?
make it make sense. Like I just, no.
And you kind of got to wonder what else is going on in the house.
Yeah.
yeah.
Or like a step up to get to that toilet. And
Yeah.
you're like, why?
Oh my God. Actually,
Well, why would you?
there's
why
like
are you
three of them
doing
that just popped into my head where there was one basement I went to and it was the strangest thing. It was, it could have been a stage for a small band to play. Like it was that big of a platform, but right in the middle of it, there was a toilet. And it was like 3 steps up to get
It's a
there.
throne.
Literally 3 steps up and you're overlooking your sink, you're overlooking your tub, and it was pretty ghetto. Like it wasn't
That's
nicely done,
the
but it was the
weirdest-
strangest thing. And I, of course, had to step up and sit on it to look at the perspective.
Well,
But
Oh
it was
my
so
God.
strange.
that's the weirdest thing I have ever heard.
And it just makes you think, like, what's going on in people's heads?
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't get it. I
Just
don't
shake
get
your
it.
head and
Yeah. I mean, don't do it or, yeah.
Yeah, just don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think actually one of the podcasts, I think it was a couple weeks ago, the podcast, basements, for example, if you can't do a good job, don't do it at all. Like it looks better unfinished
Yeah.
than things like we just talked about. Like what the fuck is going through your head?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree.
Anyway.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
All right. Good chat, you guys.
That's all
You
I
guys?
got. Thanks for listening. And if you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe and like, and have a great rest of your day.